Hi, my name's Ryan, Hiring Guru, and today we're going to talk about how you can take your hands off your ears and get the feedback you need to actually perfect your hiring process and drive up your applicant flow. Make sure you stick around to the end. I'll provide you a link to where you can download one of our best tools on how to write a better job ad that's guaranteed to increase your applicant flow. So I'm what you'd call a product manager. That's actually where I started kind of my life in the technology world. I would build products. And when you build products, there's one of the most amazing ways to make sure that you build a product that you only build the most important parts and you ensure that customers will actually like it. And it's called feedback. What we actually call it is a feedback loop. We want to create a loop where we create stuff, we gather feedback, and it comes back around to us. I use this on everything. I actually have an Airbnb that I've been testing for the past 4 or 5 months. And so I listen to the reviews that people make. I listen to the questions they ask me. And then I go back and I change. I change my outline, my instructions. I added a crib. I added different things inside the Airbnb, an Apple TV, changed my Wi-Fi setup, all of that based on the feedback I received in order to make it a better product. If you look at the way that we consume things these days or the way that we buy, our process has dramatically changed over the last decade. It used to be that maybe you would get some reviews from word of mouth. You would talk to your friend and ask them, what best hotel they'd stayed in when they went to Disneyland. But if you didn't know any friends who'd been to Disneyland recently, that would be a hard time or a hard problem to solve. You wouldn't have anybody to give you their honest feedback. We switched away from listening to just our friends and close relatives or close neighbors and actually decided that reviews were good even if we didn't know the person, even if it was from a complete stranger. Along came sites like Yelp and the hotel sites. All of those sites are based on reviews. They're based on strangers giving feedback or leaving reviews about what it was like to eat at a restaurant, stay in a hotel, to use a certain software. In fact, Google actually gives a ton of credibility to these sites that are directories of different software, different programs, different products, and the reviews that are left, even Amazon. How many times do you buy something that doesn't have good reviews on Amazon? You don't. You don't read books that don't have reviews. You don't buy products that don't have reviews. You don't stay in hotels that don't have reviews. It just is what it is. But there's power to those reviews besides just enabling or empowering the consumer. They also provide an immense amount of power to the business. The business can read through those reviews as long as they're humble and they're willing to listen. They're able to glean customer input from those reviews, go back and change their product to make it better. Adjust what they offer, adjust how they offer it, adjust the service they're providing, and it allows you as a company to perfect the product you're offering. Well, here's the deal. In HR, there's very little feedback like that. Yes, you've got Glassdoor and Indeed that now allow employees to leave reviews, but we really don't have a lot of feedback on some of the most impactful and important parts of the hiring process, specifically the job ad. Think about the data on it. You might not have it, but we look at millions and millions of people who are looking at our job ads every single month. What we see is that overall, 90% of people who view job ads don't actually start applying. That's 9 in 10 people read the ad and turn around and leave. This is pretty consistent with what we hear from job boards, with what we see from other career sites and other applicant tracking systems. 90% of people read the ad and turn around and leave. That is a huge problem. Now, certainly HR might dismiss it and say, well, they're just not qualified. Maybe they'll come back later. Maybe the job wasn't in their area, et cetera, et cetera. But the simple fact of the matter is a huge percentage of that 90% are highly qualified people who, for one reason or another, decided that they didn't like the ad. Maybe they had a question. Maybe they didn't like what was written. Maybe they didn't find it engaging. Maybe they misunderstood something in the ad. Maybe they didn't understand when the shift was, or et cetera. We actually have a story. We had a client that's a retail store. They had a job for a part-time inventory stalker. Somebody goes in, takes all the products, puts it on the shelves. They asked us to post it on Facebook groups to help them test and see if they'd get some more applicants from it. And the interesting thing that happened right away was that we started getting questions about when the person would need to work, what days of the week and what hours of the day. You see, if you're a part-time person, you're looking for a part-time job, it probably means you have something else going on in your life. So Facebook allowed us to have this feedback loop. A loop of information where we post and we receive back information from potential customers, or in this case, potential job seekers who said, hey, this job ad is missing some information. It doesn't tell me the time of day that I'd have to work. It doesn't tell me the days of the week. Facebook groups and Facebook itself is about the closest form of feedback loop. But for the most part, HR is operating with their fingers in their ears or their hands over them. They don't hear feedback about their job ads. And I believe part of it's because they don't think it matters. Our data says it matters immensely. A good job ad will increase applicant flow by anywhere from 50 to 300%. That is a huge increase without spending an extra dime, without doing anything extra, without picking new job boards, simply by changing the content of the ad. So let me give you some ideas, or actually 4 complete steps that you can go through to perfect your job ad or to build the most optimized job ad possible. You don't have to do all 4 of them, but any of these things that you do as you build them up will give you better and better data and better feedback to perfect the ad. Number 1, take your ad, make sure it's an ad, not a job description. Write an ad that focuses on why the job seeker should want the job and want to apply, and show it to your current employees who currently do the job, not the manager, but employees currently doing the job, and ask them what questions would they have, what would stop them from applying to the job, what type of information do they wish was in the ad that would make them more likely to apply for the job. Number 2, post that job on Facebook in a Facebook group like Help Wanted or Jobs Group and ask for feedback. Ask people, see what questions they ask, see what comments they leave, or just straight up ask them, what stuff could we add to this job that would help you understand it better or make you more likely to apply. Number 3, ask the people who actually applied to your job previously this one specific question. You can actually add this to your interview, but it'd be better if you ask people right after they apply, which would be, what almost made you not apply? Really simple question. Clearly they did apply because they did finish the application, but the question I want to know is, what things almost made them not? What stuff in the ad, what stuff about the job, what questions did they have in their mind that almost pushed them over the edge where they didn't apply? And then finally, if you really want extra credit here, you can go and get software. There's pop-up software. It's used usually by marketing teams. You can install it on your career site, and what it does is it watches for people about ready to leave your site. If they try to leave the site, either pressing the back button, moving their mouse off the screen, it pops open and allows you to ask a question. Your question would be, what questions do you have about this job that's stopping you from applying? Fill in the blank. You're going to gather all this information, you're going to take it and you're going to adjust your ad until you get it perfect. What you will see as you do this is a dramatic increase in applicant flow, because that's what we see every single time we use this same approach with a client. So as I promised, you do have the ability to download our How to Write a Killer Job Ad booklet. It focuses you in on these same exact things. Understanding your job seeker target market, talking them to building personas, using employee feedback to write a really killer ad, and actually using that ad to generate applicant flow. We see increases of 50 to 300% by clients who use this approach to write better job ads without spending any extra money. Please look for the link either in the email, in the comments, or on the blog that you're reading this on, and click download to download a free copy of it today. I hope that this video finds you well, and until next time, good luck hiring.